down here and I'll show you the most important thing, of course, is the green lady, right? I gotta have my coffee. We all know that. Make sure you got your coffee or whatever beverage you need to get you motivated for the day. Okay, you're gonna need a couple of rags, gloves to keep the stuff off your hands. It's oil-based. That stuff gets on your hands. It's sticky. It's hard to come off. But don't you worry. If it does, you're gonna use mineral spirits to remove anything that's on your hands. And the mineral spirits you will also use to clean any brushes that you use because it's oil-based. You need an oil-based cleaner. So that's what you're going to use the mineral spirits for too. It also thins out stain and what have you, and poly and whatever else. So that's very important there. This right here is what I chose to use for the floors. This has a satin, actually a matte finish. So this is going to be low luster. There's not going to be hardly any shine to the floor, which is good because too much shine on the floor, it looks almost like it was a poured finish, and that's not nice either. You won't really see the floor grain and everything else. So the matte finish is what I chose. And it came in these quart containers. Verathane makes it. It's a polyurethane. This is a new process. It supposedly does 3 coats in one. We'll see. And I know I'm going to have to do more than 1 coat for sure. So this is what I chose. You feel free to choose whatever you want, whatever kind of finish you want, whether it's gloss, semi-gloss, satin, matte. But this was hard to find, so they only came in quart containers, so I had to order them that way. And you'll see, just like I did with the stain, I'm going to take all 4 quarts and pour them into 1 gallon. Again, what I'm trying to do is eliminate the fact that if each one of these come from a different batch, I don't want to apply the 1 can at a time. So I'm going to take all 4 of these and pour it inside the container here so it all will be uniform when I apply it to the floor. So of course, to apply finish on the floor, you need, most of the time there, a lamb's wool. This is a top coat applicator, and it's very soft. It holds the polyurethane properly. You don't want to use a roller really, because the roller, once you hit it onto the ground, you'll get a lot in one area and then it's hard to move it around. So this is what you want to use as the applicator for the top coat or the polyurethane or what have you. So I always take a little bit of painter's tape here. Here's another tip. Take a little bit of painter's tape, and this rule applies the same for when you're painting, and I'll show you when I paint the room too. And I take this and I just run it across here and take up any loose hairs because I don't want them on my floor. So that's what this is for. So I keep, remember when you used to take the lint off your clothes with the tape? It's the same thing. So I'm doing the same thing with this applicator because I want to make sure that I'm getting all these loose hairs. And you can see, look here. You see? They will all come off that way. And you want them on the tape. You'd rather on the tape than on the floor when the finish goes on, because you don't want those, pieces of fabric and hairs from brushes and what have you on your floor. And then what we have here is the holder for the applicator, right? So in it goes here. I'm gonna loosen that up just a little bit. Right like that. All right, and I'm gonna loosen this one up. And like I said, you're gonna save a shit ton of money. Learn to do these things on your own. It does a lot of things for you. First of all, you take pride in what you do. That's the truth. And it's always that old saying, like everybody says, it's never 100% unless you do it yourself. So you should be trying to do these things on your own. So now I close it down, clamp it down, and then I just tighten this butterfly, right like that. All right, and I'll do the same to the other side. See here, making sure everything's nice, even. These are the things that you should be doing. Like, you can get everybody at the house involved, right? You can, have one person set everything up. You can have the other person mix the stain or the finish together. It's this way you can get things done much faster. Okay, so my applicator is nice. It's on there. And I'm just using a regular paint pole right here. And you'll see it just... All right, first we gotta find out which way it goes. You see? And this is just a regular paint pole. And that's it. And you'll see this is easy. It's just a matter of moving the finish now, however way I want. I have a regular paint tray here, again, making sure no dust, nothing is in them. My finishes will go in here. I'll need these to see what I'm doing. Again, the eyes are getting old. So I'm gonna open up these. This right here, one of the most useful tools you will ever have. This is a painter's tool, right? So it's used to open up cans. This is a scraper. This cleans the roller, right, like that. This will pull nails. These right here are for bolts if you need to take something out. Again, another thing to open up cans here. But, and you'll see it has these holders here for screwdrivers. And if you put this, right, you put that, look at that, inside there, now you can take off your outlets that way. So it's a really handy tool. It does so many different things, scraper, I mean, it's just a great tool. So you should have one, and they're not that expensive. So again, I'm gonna give this just a little bit of shake, not too much. I don't wanna put air bubbles in here. Finish gets air, it will get air bubbles. And of course, listen, safety, always talk about, you're gonna wear a mask. This is gonna be really potent with the smell. Make sure you put your gloves on because you wanna try and keep it off your hands. You wanna try and stay as clean as possible. That's what's necessary, okay? All right, so gloves are going on. And I'm gonna show you the first, right? So now everything is pretty simple so far, right? We're not solving the pyramid equations. So I'm gonna put this on the side here. That's gonna hold my brush for my poly when I need to get on the edges. I'm gonna put this on the cardboard here to make sure if I spill anything, it doesn't go anywhere. I'm gonna put my containers on this side so I don't spill them, they're not in the way. And of course my trusty paint stick. This is what the foam applicator, this is what the applicator came in. So this right here is my paint stick. The paint stick. Don't get it twisted, folks. And now I'm gonna open up, the finish. Again, I'm taking my painter's tool. Nice. And I'm gonna empty these contents inside this can. And I wanna get all of them in there. Because like I said before, I wanna give it a quick stir. And make sure that I have uniformity. I wanna make sure I get all of these in together. This way, if they didn't come from the same batch, at least when I mix them together, they become one uniform finish. And that's what I'm looking for. I wanna make sure that everything, all of these, get mixed together so that there's no difference in the finish. And you want to do that with paint too. So whether you're staining, I showed you when I stained the floor, I poured it all in together, same with the finish, right? I want to make sure that I'm making everything uniform. I want all the same consistency. I want everything to be the same. Make sure you clean it up as you go. That's always my thing. That's why I never have a mess around when I'm working. Very, very important. Get all your materials and everything you need out in front of you. Just like if you were being a chef and if I was in the kitchen, this would all be my mise en place. It's exactly what this would be. And the same thing in construction, when I work construction. Big shout out to all the journeymen and the master carpenters and craftsmen, Mr. Joe Merla and everybody else I learned from. Make sure you have all your tools out in front of you. Make sure you have all your materials out in front of you. You don't want to start a project and then have to go find something. That's what you don't want to do, because then you ain't saving a shit ton of money, you heard? Now we're going to start to work on the floors. When I come back, I'll show you exactly how to apply the finish. It's going to be fantastic, and your boy from Brooks is going to save you a shit ton of money.